Welcome back, guys. FleetForce truck driver training. I'm Lamar Kelly. Today we're going to be doing the 2024 model of the Class A pre-trip. Let's get started. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to begin the end cab portion of the pre-trip. Going to make sure that your seatbelt is on, adjusted for comfort and safety. My mirrors. When you check your mirrors, you want to point to all your mirrors, every mirror that you have. All of my mirrors are clean and clear, and they're adjusted properly for optimum vision. My windshield is clean and clear. It's not broken, not cracked, no obstructions. My windshield wipers are secure and not damaged. Inside my truck, I have my fire extinguisher. It is secure and fully charged. I also have 3 red reflective triangles that are secure, and I have spare fuses and circuit breakers. All right, now we're going to go ahead and click the key on one click. You want to make sure that your ABS light comes on and goes off for your truck and your trailer. And you want to make sure that your DEF lighting indicator comes on and goes off, and that you have at least 1/8 tank of DEF. Going to fire up the truck. While we're waiting for our first purge or governor cutout between 120 and 140, we're going to go ahead and continue with the end cab. First thing we're going to do is the horns. Next thing you want to do is make sure that you have your left indicator, your right indicator, your high beam indicator, and my 4-ways all work properly. Then you're going to make sure that your windshield wipers work. They sway and spray. Then you want to come over to your heat and defrost. You want to turn the fan to the highest setting, high heat, and then the defrost and feet selection. Check the top for defrost and the bottom for your heat. Now we're just waiting for that first purge between 120 and 140. All right, that's our first purge at 135 pounds of pressure. What you want to do now is you're going to start your brake test. You want to explain the brake test before you perform it. So explain the brake test, then perform it, and then tell the examiner if it passed or not. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to release the truck and tug on the trailer. That's a pass test. Now we're going to engage the truck and release the trailer and tug on the truck. That's also a pass test. Now what we're going to do is called a service brake test. What you're going to do is release both the truck and trailer brakes, lightly hold the steering wheel, and drive 5 miles an hour forward. You're going to stab the brake and make sure the truck stops safely and the steering wheel doesn't pull left or right. We'll do that now. Truck stops safely, steering wheel doesn't pull left or right. That's a pass test. Now what you want to do is find level ground before you set your parking brakes. All right, we're on level ground. Set both your truck and trailer brakes back, engaged, and now we're going to wait for our second purge. If you don't find level ground before you set your truck and trailers back, then when you release your truck and trailer brakes for your LAB, your leak alarm button test, your truck may roll, and you don't want that. That's our second purge at 135 pounds of pressure. So now the first thing you want to do is turn the truck off. Don't even take your hand off the key. When the engine dies, turn the key right back on to on position without starting the truck. Next thing you're going to do is release both your truck and trailer brakes and wait for the pressure to stabilize. Once you push your truck and trailer button in, that's going to give you your beginning leak pressure. Looks like we're stable at 100 pounds of pressure, so we're going to start our leak test at 100 pounds of pressure. So you're going to take out your timing device, set your timer for 1 minute. What you're going to do now is you're going to hold the service brake down for 60 seconds. Once your needles stabilize, you're going to call out the pressure and then start your timer. At the end of 60 seconds, we should not lose more than 4 pounds of pressure, starting at 100 pounds. Push the service brake down, start your timer. All right, we're stable at 90 pounds of pressure. I'm looking at my gauges and listening for air leaks. I don't hear anything. My gauges are stable. holding at 90 pounds of pressure. All right, it's been 1 minute. We did not lose more than 4 pounds of pressure in a minute. That is still at 90 pounds of pressure. That's a pass test. Now what we're going to do is called alarm test, a low air alarm. So we're going to fan our brakes, and both of our low air alarms should come on at 55 or above. And you want to fan the brake nice and steady. You don't want to go too fast, because if you say both of your alarms should come on at 55 or above and you pump too quickly, then it could go below 55 and it would be a failed test. Starting at 90. All right, both of our low air alarms have come on at 55 or above. They came on at 65 pounds of pressure. So that's a pass test. Now what we're going to do is continue to fan our brakes, and both of our buttons, trailer and truck, should pop between 20 and 45 pounds of pressure, starting at 65. All right, both of our buttons did pop at 30 pounds of pressure, so that's a pass test. Now what we're going to do is an external light check. Okay guys, very important. Anytime you're entering or exiting the vehicle, you want to make sure that you're facing the inside of the truck with 3 points of contact. 3 points of contact facing the inside, getting in and getting out. First thing we're going to do now with our external light check is we're going to turn the left indicator on. You're going to come to the front of the truck, make sure that the front of the vehicle's left indicator is working properly. Side of the truck, left indicator is working properly. Rear of the truck, left indicator is working properly. Side of your trailer, left indicator is working properly. And the rear of your trailer, left indicator is working properly. Now we're going to go do the same thing with the right side. You don't have to use 3 points of contact if you can reach the turning indicator lever without climbing inside the truck. What we're going to do now, turn the right indicator on and do the same thing. Front of the truck, right indicator works properly. Side of the truck, right indicator works properly. Rear of the truck, right indicator works properly. Side of the trailer, right indicator works properly. And rear of the trailer, right indicator works properly. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn the low beam headlights on, and we're going to check every single light on the truck and trailer. Make sure everything's functioning properly. You want to make sure they're on low beam, because the next step will be the high beams and 4 ways together. You want to come back to the front of your truck. Both left and right side front of my truck, low beams are working properly. Both left and right front of my truck, marker lights are working properly. You also have reflectors on the front of your truck, left and right. Top of my cab, all of my lights are working properly. Side of my truck marker light is working properly. You also want to check the top of your trailer, both left and right. Clearance lights are working properly. Rear of my tractor, running or marker lights are both working properly. Side of my trailer, marker light is working properly. Rear of my trailer, marker light is working properly. This particular trailer does not have any side of the trailer marker lights, but you want to make sure if it does or does not. Rear of my trailer doesn't have one on the top, but some trailers do. All 5 on the top and all 4 on the bottom are working properly in the rear of your trailer. Now you have the rear marker light in the back working properly. This is your ABS light for your trailer. Make sure it goes off. If it stays on, you still have brakes, but you have a problem with your ABS system. No lights in the center on the top, but we do have one in the center on the bottom. Center of the trailer, marker light is working properly. We've already covered both of the marker lights in the back of the tractor. Again, top clearance light on the left side of the trailer is working properly, and left side of the truck marker light is working properly. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn on your hazards and your high beams at the same time. Come right back to the front of your vehicle. Make sure both of your high beams are working properly. Both of my left and right high beams are working properly, and my left and right front of my vehicle hazard lights are both working properly. Now you want to go down both sides and make sure that everything is working properly. Right side of my truck, four-way, is working properly, or hazard. Rear of my truck, both of my four-ways or hazards are working properly. Right side of my trailer, middle, four-way is working properly. Now we'll check the rear of the trailer. Both left and right four-ways on the rear of the trailer are all working properly. Left side center of the trailer, four-way, working properly. We've already covered both four-ways on the back of the truck. Now the left side of the truck, four-way, is also working properly. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna climb in the truck, cancel all of your lights, wait for the examiner to get the back of the vehicle. He's gonna be in a position where he can see the back of the truck and the trailer. Put your seatbelt on, hit the brakes. The brake light should come on when you push the pedal down and go off when you release the pedal. And the examiner will give you the thumbs up if it works, thumbs down if it doesn't. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start our walk around on the outside of the truck. You wanna come to the front of the truck where you can see the integrity of your lenses, your lights, your leans, your leaks. And the first thing you wanna do, as we're looking at it, we're gonna verify that we don't have any puddles, new puddles on the ground, which would indicate leaks. There's no fluid on the underside of the motor or transmission. You also want to look at how your truck's sitting. Make sure it's not leaning front to back or side to side, which would indicate a low tire or a suspension problem. Once you verify that you have no leaks, there's no fluid on your motor or transmission, your truck's not leaning, you want to verify that both your front left and right lenses are clean, not broken or missing, and they're clear in color. You also want to check the integrity of your low beams, left and right, front of your truck, to make sure they're clean, not broken or missing, and they're white in color. Your high beams, also clean, not broken or missing, and they're both clear. Then you have your left and right marker lights on the front of your truck. They're clean, not broken or missing, amber in color. You also have on your left and right a reflector. Make sure that it's clean, not broken or missing, and it's amber in color on both sides. All right, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna open up the hood and come to the passenger side of the vehicle. We're gonna do a general overview of the passenger side engine compartment. You're gonna check the condition of all your hoses and wires to make sure the hose and wire condition are intact and you have no fluid or air leaks from your hoses or airlines. Now what we're gonna do is a general overview of the driver's side engine compartment. All right, we're gonna repeat the passenger side. On the driver's side, you're gonna make sure that all your hose and wire conditions are intact and that you don't have any fluid or air leaks from your hoses or airlines. Right after that, you're gonna go to your coolant reservoir. You wanna make sure that you can see the level in your coolant reservoir. So my coolant reservoir is clear and I can see that the level is the proper level. Then I'm going to come right down to my power steering reservoir. My power steering reservoir is also clear and I can see that the power steering fluid is at the proper level. Then you're going to go right to your oil dipstick. My oil dipstick, to have that checked properly, you want to make sure that the engine's off. Pull the dipstick out, wipe it clean, put it back in, pull it out to make sure that it's between min and max. You do not actually have to pull that dipstick out for the examiner, but you want to explain to him how you would do it if you were to check it. Then you're going to go right down to your gearbox, your steering gearbox, which is here. My steering gearbox is securely mounted. There's no leaks from my gearbox, hoses, or the connections. You also want to make sure that you don't have any missing nuts, bolts, or cotter keys. Then you're going to check all visible links, arms, and rods from your gearbox to your wheel to make sure they're not cracked or worn, and that the joints and sockets are not worn or loose. From there, I like to go to the suspension. Make sure your front and rear spring mounts are not cracked, broken, or missing any parts. Then you're going to go to your springs and make sure they're not cracked, broken, missing any parts, or shifted. Make sure that they're lined up correctly. Then you're going to come to your shock absorber, make sure it's securely mounted, not damaged, and make sure it's not leaking. Then you're going to come right into your brake system. Make sure your brake hose can supply air to the brakes. Make sure your brake line is not worn, cracked, or frayed. You're also checking for leaks. You don't want to have any leaks in your hoses or fittings, and you want to make sure that your couplings and fittings are secure. Right down to, on this particular truck, if you have a slack adjuster and push rod, you know you have drum brakes. If you don't have this little piece right here, the slack adjuster and push rod, then you have disc brakes. On this particular truck, we have drums and linings. So you'll come right here. It's covered by a big safety feature, but you want to make sure that your drums, your brake drums, and your brake linings are free of contaminants, free of oil and grease. All right, so now we're going to check the tire. What you're going to do, you want to make sure that the tire has no bumps or bulges, and it has no cuts that would expose body plies to the sidewall of your tire. Make sure the inside, outside, and top of your sidewall and top are worn evenly, and you want to check the tread depth. Make sure on the steer tires you have at least 4/32 seconds of tread depth, and on the drives and the trailer required 2/32 seconds of tread depth, and what you would do is check that with a tread depth gauge. Then you want to come down to your valve stem. Make sure your valve stem is accessible, it's not cracked or damaged, and it's not leaking. Make sure your cap is on tight, and you would also want to state to your examiner that you would check the pressure of your tires with a tire pressure gauge. Right to our wheel. When you look at your wheel, you want to make sure that there's no rust trails, which would indicate a loose rim on a wedge wheel. You want to make sure that it's not cracked, bent, or broken. Make sure that it doesn't have any welding repairs, and that it's not cracked, bent, or broken. Now we're going to go to our lug nuts. You want to state that all of your lug nuts are present. There's no rust trails, which would indicate a loose lug nut, or shiny threads, which would indicate cross threading. Now we're going to inspect all mirrors on the truck. You want to make sure that they're securely mounted and not bent, and the mirrors are clean and not cracked, and you have no missing parts. This mirror and mirror bracket is securely mounted. It's not bent. The mirrors are clean and not cracked, and there's no missing parts. Gonna go ahead and hit your side marker light to make sure it's clean, not broken or missing, and it's amber in color. Now what we're gonna do is you're going to drop down to your fuel tanks and your def tank. Well, this particular truck has your battery and battery box here. So you want to make sure that your batteries are secure, your connections are tight, there's no excessive corrosion, and your battery cover is secure. You will not actually have to take the battery cover off. You'll just let the examiner know that you know how to check the integrity of your battery and battery box and connections. Now you're going to go to your def tank. You want to make sure your def tank is securely mounted. There's no leaks from the tank, hoses, lines, or connections, and that the cap is on tight. Then you're going to go to your fuel tank. Make sure the fuel tank is securely mounted. There's no leaks from the tank, hoses, lines, or connections, and that the cap is on tight. All right, what we're gonna check for now, we're gonna check the frame and cross members for the entire length of the truck. The frame and cross members. You wanna make sure that they're not cracked or damaged. You have no holes and no broken welds. You will also check the floor of your trailer to make sure it's, for the length of your trailer, that it's not cracked or damaged, and you have no holes in the floor of your trailer. Underneath and inside your frame and cross member, you have your electrical system from the front of your truck to the back. When you inspect your electrical system, you want to make sure that your electrical systems, lines, and cables are secure, and that your wires are not worn or cracked. Now we're going to go back here. You're going to go ahead and inspect the two lights on the back of your truck. You're going to make sure that they're clean, they're not broken or missing, and you want to make sure that they're red in color. You also have Your clearance light on the top of your trailer on both sides, you want to make sure that it's clean, not broken or missing, and amber in color. You also have your DOT tape. You want to make sure that that's present and it's secure. You're required 50% DOT tape on the side of your truck and 100% on the back. All right, so what we're going to look at now, guys, is the landing gear, support frame, pads, and handle. So you want to make sure that your landing gear is fully raised, you have no missing parts, your crank handle is secure, and your frame and your pads are not damaged. All right, now what we're going to look at, we're going to make sure that our tandem release handle is secure. And you also want to check your pins. Your tandem release handle has to be in the lock position and secure, and your tandem release pins, you want to make sure that you can see them sticking out through the holes. You're going to make sure that your side of the trailer marker light is clean, not broken or missing, and it's amber in color. This is our ABS light. It's clean, not broken or missing, and it's amber in color. Then we have the marker light on the back of the trailer, clean, not broken or missing, and it's red in color. All right, now in the back of your trailer, you're gonna have 5 clearance lights on the top. They're clean, they're not broken or missing, and they're red in color. Then you have 4 lights on the rear of your trailer on the bottom. They're clean, not broken or missing, red in color. Their functions are running lights, brake lights, left turn signal, right turn signal, and your 4-ways. Right side rear of your trailer marker light, clean, not broken or missing, red in color, and then right to the side of the trailer. Right side of your trailer marker light, clean, not broken or missing, amber in color. Its functions are turn signal, 4-way, and running light. Top of your trailer, right side clearance light, clean, not broken or missing, amber in color. And last but not least, right side, middle of your truck, running light or marker light, it's clean, not broken or missing, amber in color. All right, guys, now what we're going to look at as your air service and emergency airlines and your pigtail. When you check the connections on your tractor for your service and emergency airlines and your pigtail, and on your trailer, your glad hands and your pigtail on your trailer, you want to make sure that they're all seated and sealed, free from damage, and locked into place. So what we're going to check now, guys, is your emergency and service airline connections on the trailer and the truck, and your pigtail connections on the trailer and the truck. You want to make sure that they're seated and sealed, free from damage, and locked into place. Then you want to look at the integrity of your service and emergency airlines. You want to make sure that they're not cut, shaved, sliced, taped, or worn. That goes for your pigtail as well. You want to state that you're listening for air leaks as you're checking your airlines. Then you want to make sure that your airlines and your pigtail are not tangled, crimped, or pinched. Make sure they're not dragging against the vehicle, parts, or the ground. All right, now what we're going to look at is the apron of your trailer. The apron of your trailer is the front of your trailer before your frame and cross members start. You want to make sure that your apron is not bent, cracked, or broken. All right, now what we're going to be checking is the skid plate and the pivot pin. You want to make sure that there's no cracks, no breaks, and you want to make sure that there's no excessive wear on the platform. Make sure your fifth wheel is properly greased. Then when you're checking your release arm safety latch, you want to make sure that it's engaged in the lock position and the safety latch or lock is in place. The fifth wheel, slide rail, and locking pins, you want to make sure that they're not damaged and the pins are fully locked or fully engaged. You want to make sure that the fifth wheel skid plate is securely mounted to the vehicle by the fifth wheel platform. Now we're going to be checking the gap the trailer and the skid plate gap, you want to make sure that the trailer is lying flat on the fifth wheel skid plate, no space between the fifth wheel and the apron, and that the fifth wheel is properly lubricated. All right, now what we're going to be checking is the locking jaws and the kingpin. You want to make sure that the locking jaws and lever are fully secured around the kingpin. You want to be checking that your kingpin is not bent, damaged, or worn. State that you would look for play between the kingpin and the locking jaw lever. All right, guys, that completes our 2024 pre-trip inspection video. If you like it and we help you in any way, please drop us a like, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for stopping by.